A Range Rover cost $160,000. You are not paying for the steel. You are not paying for the engine. You are paying for the feeling, that boxy stance, that aggressive presence, that subconscious whisper telling you nothing on this road can touch you. Mercedes figured this out decades ago. Land Rover built an empire on it. And then a Chinese engineer sat down, reverse engineered that exact psychological trigger, built a better chassis, added a 280 horsepower electric drivetrain, and priced it at $30,000. Today we are going to find out if the feeling still cost $160,000, or if that price just became a choice. There is a deeply embedded psychological trigger in the human brain. When you see a vehicle built from right angles, a flat bonnet, a monolithic grille, squared-off wheel arches, your primitive instinct fires a single word: invincibility. This is exactly why a Mercedes G-Wagon commands six-figure price tags. It is not selling you transportation. It is selling you the feeling that you could survive the end of the world, even if the most aggressive terrain you ever face is a speed bump outside a shopping mall. Land Rover built an entire empire on the same illusion. Right angles subconsciously signal structural defense against a chaotic outside world. They communicate permanence. They communicate dominance. And the automotive industry has monetized this psychology with extraordinary precision for over half a century. Enter the Jaecoo 6. Globally badged under Chery's international expansion strategy, this vehicle is known in the Chinese domestic market as the iCar 03. The name is deliberately deceptive. It sounds like a compact urban gadget, something fragile and forgettable. The reality is something else entirely. This is a formidable compact SUV, 4 meters long, 1.91 meters wide. It sits on the road with the physical authority of a vehicle 2 size classes above it. Walk up to it and your G-Wagon receptor fires immediately. The same receptor that automakers have been charging you $40,000 extra to activate. But underneath that brutalist exterior, there is no combustion engine, no diesel, no turbocharger spooling under the hood. Just a silent, high-voltage electric architecture that tears up 130 years of automotive convention. This is not just a car, it is a calculated assault on the established order. To understand what Chery actually built here, you need to understand the fundamental problem they were trying to solve, and why every traditional automaker would have flinched at the challenge. Building an electric off-roader with genuine 300-mile range inside a body shaped like a brick is, from a pure physics standpoint, an absolute nightmare. Here is why. Aerodynamic drag is governed by a vehicle's drag coefficient, a number that describes how efficiently a shape moves through air. A modern aerodynamic sedan like a Tesla Model 3 achieves a drag coefficient of around 0.21. A boxed-out, vertically sculpted SUV like the Jaecoo 6? Closer to 0.35 or worse. Every time you double your speed, aerodynamic drag quadruples. At motorway speeds, you are essentially trying to push a vertical wall through the atmosphere. That drag penalty destroys electric range, and to compensate, you need a larger battery pack. A larger battery pack means more weight. More weight demands more energy to move. It is a brutal compounding problem with no elegant solution, unless you are willing to rethink the entire material strategy of the vehicle. Traditional automotive engineering has a well-worn answer to cost control. Stamp the structural body from high-strength steel, use cheaper mild steel for non-structural panels, and cover cosmetic surfaces in plastic. Steel is predictable, inexpensive, and globally sourced. Every volume manufacturer from Volkswagen to Toyota operates on this exact philosophy. Chery rejected it completely. The Jaecoo 6 is built around a multi-cavity all-aluminum body structure. This is not incremental improvement. This is a material science decision reserved for vehicles costing 3 to 5 times more. The Porsche Taycan, the Range Rover low-volume supercars. Aluminum is dramatically lighter than steel, but it is also significantly more expensive to form, join, and repair. So how did Chery make this economically viable at a competitive price point? Through gigacasting. Rather than assembling structural components from dozens of individually stamped and welded steel pieces, each weld point a potential failure zone, gigacasting uses enormous hydraulic presses operating at thousands of tons of pressure to inject molten aluminum into a single complex mold. The result is massive, single-piece subframe sections with zero welding joints, greater dimensional accuracy, and a strength-to-weight ratio that traditional manufacturing simply cannot match. This is the same process Tesla pioneered with the Model Y rear underbody. Chery absorbed that lesson and applied it to an off-road platform. The result is a curb weight of approximately 1,800 kilograms. For a vehicle of this size, with a 69.8 kilowatt-hour battery pack on board, that number is genuinely impressive. The aluminum body solves the weight problem. But the Jaecoo 6's engineering ambition does not stop at the chassis. Begin with the powertrain. In the dual-motor all-wheel drive configuration, one electric motor drives the front axle and a second motor drives the rear. Combined output reaches approximately 280 brake horsepower, with 385 Newton-meters of torque available from 0 RPM. That last part is critical. A diesel engine must spool a turbocharger, build combustion pressure, and work through a gearbox before it delivers peak torque. The Jaecoo 6 delivers maximum rotational force to all 4 tyres at the exact millisecond you touch the throttle. No delay, no lag, instantaneous. For off-road use, this is a transformative advantage. Rock crawling, mud extraction, steep hill starts, all scenarios where precise, immediate torque control determines success or failure, are environments where electric motors are objectively superior to combustion alternatives. The entire high-voltage system carries an IP68 waterproof and dustproof certification. That means the battery pack, both motors and all associated electronics are hermetically sealed against sustained water submersion. The psychological anxiety that many off-road drivers feel about combining electricity and water is an instinct worth examining. And the Jaecoo 6 addresses it with redundant sealing architecture rather than simply marketing reassurances. Ground clearance sits at 200 millimeters. Approach angle is 26 degrees. Departure angle is 29 degrees. These numbers place it in genuine off-road capable territory, not just visual approximation of it, but the most technically sophisticated feature of the Jaecoo 6 may be the one that feels the most theatrical. The 540-degree transparent chassis mode. When navigating a blind crest, a deep water crossing, or a boulder field where tyre placement is critical, the driver engages this system through the 15.6-inch central touchscreen, high-definition cameras positioned beneath the wing mirrors, inside the front grille, and at the tailgate feed real-time video to an onboard processor. That processor reads vehicle speed, steering angle, and suspension travel simultaneously, then uses those inputs to computationally stitch the camera feeds into a live three-dimensional render of the ground directly beneath the vehicle. The aluminum body appears transparent on the screen. You can see exactly where your front tyres are placed in real time without opening a door or relying on a spotter. This is not a gimmick. This is computational engineering solving a genuine human limitation, the inability to see through your own vehicle. The same dual-motor architecture that delivers brutal off-road torque also enables electronic torque vectoring on tarmac. Traditional mechanical four-wheel drive systems use transfer cases and reactive differentials that require fractions of a second to engage. The Jaecoo 6 monitors individual wheels slip at a microsecond resolution. The moment an inside rear wheel begins to lose grip in a corner, the system instantaneously transfers power to the outside wheel, physically rotating the nose of the vehicle back toward the intended line. The driver experiences this as an almost supernatural sense of stability and confidence, completely unaware that a network of algorithms is actively compensating for the physics threatening to unsettle the car. The suspension architecture supports all of this. McPherson strut independent suspension at the front, a multi-link setup at the rear, and critically because the heaviest single component, the 69.8 kilowatt battery pack, is mounted flat against the floor pan, the center of gravity sits dramatically lower than the vehicle's boxy silhouette suggests. To your eyes, this is a tall, imposing off-roader. To the laws of physics, the mass is distributed like a sports saloon. Position the Jaecoo 6 against the competition and the discomfort for legacy manufacturers becomes visible immediately. A comparable Land Rover Defender 90 with a diesel powertrain starts above $60,000. A Mercedes G-Class begins well above $100,000. Both offer genuine off-road capability, strong brand prestige, and proven durability. Neither offers an aluminum gigacast body structure, electronic torque vectoring, a transparent chassis display system, or an IP68 rated electric powertrain at any price. Volkswagen and Toyota, operating at volume in the compact SUV segment, face a different but equally uncomfortable reality. Their cost structures are built around steel manufacturing. Transitioning to aluminum gigacasting at scale requires not just capital investment in new tooling, but a fundamental reorganization of supplier networks built over decades. What Chery has demonstrated is that the emotional premium, the rugged aesthetic, the feeling of indestructibility, the psychological authority of a boxy silhouette, no longer requires a premium price. The technology that delivers genuine capability has been decoupled from the heritage that traditionally justified the cost. The spare tyre cover on the Jaecoo 6's tailgate is perhaps the sharpest editorial comment on this entire situation. Open it and there is no spare tyre. It is an external storage compartment, a backpack for wet gear and muddy cables. It looks exactly like tradition. It functions as something entirely new. That is precisely the nature of the threat. The Chinese automotive industry is no longer building cheaper versions of Western ideas. It is identifying the psychological desires that premium brands have monetized for decades: safety, dominance, capability, presence, and delivering them through engineering that legacy manufacturers genuinely cannot match at this price point. The Jaecoo 6 is not a perfect vehicle, but it does not need to be. It only needs to be good enough to make buyers question why they are paying twice the price for a badge and a legacy. The future of the SUV is not diesel fumes and heavy steel. It is gigacasting, silicon, and the audacity to rethink what rugged actually means. The rules just changed again.